this stuff right here.
Boy, you know you should have put some lotion on your mother was going to do this.
You see this baby toe? This is my child.
I see it. I've got the same problem.
Thank you.
Men's boxers in the trunk.
They wash it?
You know I'm a germaphobe. Exhibit A, men's boxers.
Miss Sanchez met her soulmate on Tinder, and in just one meeting, she knew that he was the one. The only bad part was that, initially, Mr. Turman's love was not strong enough to tie her. Fast forward, her looseness created trust issues between them.
This has gone on for 2 years of accusations and lies and the fact that he doesn't trust me. It's very hurtful, and it means a lot to me today that we prove once and for all that he's the father of my son. Put it all to bed after this.
The woman was spiritually married to the guy at the podium. Like that ever works. Because it wasn't satisfactory to keep them attached, and the defendant testified that hard in the court. According to him, Miss Sanchez can slip up for any man too easily.
I couldn't go through with it because there's too many trust issues. And I feel like if you don't have trust, you can't go forward with the relationship.
Too many doubts. Well, it had to do with the way they connected. As we mentioned before, that couple came across each other on Tinder, and both were seeing multiple people. But the alleged father stopped, whereas mommy was still on the speed dial.
We met on Tinder, and I'm swiping, and I came across her profile, and I super liked. She liked me back, we connected. So the second night is when we actually hung out. We had some drinks, one thing led to another, and we had sex the first night.
That's definitely a super swipe, super like, whatever you called it.
Super swiping landed the getting intimate right in the first time, though the plaintiff blamed it on the alcohol and lack of ground rules, leading them to the ambiguous equation where the defendant was settling for the baby mama who wasn't ready to stick to one man.
I showed my friends pictures of her because I'm hype. And so I showed them pictures and they send me a video like, yo, isn't this the girl you're talking to? She's at a bar giving somebody else her number, it looks like.
Nope.
So it just started to form like issues with trust. If she slept with me the first night that we met, she probably could have slept with him the first night.
So there goes the doubt. Grimm was eating the potential father up. What added fuel to the situation was that multiple men kept coming and telling Mr. Turman that they had slept with the girl of their dreams. Yeesh, anyone would be frustrated over that.
Did you have open when you were with Mr. Turman?
Exactly.
We were just talking.
So I'm right, you was on the party line and you had stopped swiping.
Yes.
And you was on automatic swipe.
Legal limbo? Love limbo? It was a limbo indeed. However, things didn't get any better, even after them moving in together. Now and then, something would happen that would instigate Mr. Turman's doubt more, like this odd one, for instance.
Men's boxers in the trunk. Now, I know for sure these aren't mine, so.
Jerome, I don't
that's
even
the
know if I
truth.
want to
That's
see
what
that
happened.
evidence, though.
They wash it? Yeah, I'll get it.
You know I'm a germaphobe. Put it on this pen. Exhibit A, men's boxers.
Exhibit A, another suspicion bombshell, I say. How would you explain this, Gabriella? Well, in her defense, it was a laundry mishap in which she had brought some of the belongings of a male relative accidentally. And they were not just boxers, but also socks, which the defendant clearly had ignored.
One thing of boxers. There was socks in there. There was all kinds of random stuff in there.
I didn't see it.
I'm sure you didn't.
But a whole pair of men's boxer shorts is the one thing in your trunk out of all the laundry?
That's an unfortunate coincidence. But
Gotcha.
that's exactly what happened. That's it.
Boy, talk about a series of unfortunate confidence. After this, then the pregnancy part came in. Ms. Sanchez told the court how she had conceived their baby on their trip to Vegas, but the defendant testified that on that very trip, she was caught feeling another man. Another one of Destiny's freaks, I guess. FYI, there was a statement about it.
So my friend Joel back around October showed me a girl he met and was starting to talk to on Tinder back when I was in California. But like mid-October, I was at a bar or club and I saw her there talking to another guy, feeling on him. And that's the statement from your friend. And that date was what?
October 15th, and I believe that could have been the conception date.
That does look bad. Though Ms. Sanchez didn't change her initial testimonies, Judge Lauren was still having difficulty with what the baby mama was saying. So she moved on to the results to end all the confusion.
You admittedly is still on Tinder, having open conversation with folks and meeting folks because you didn't think you were exclusive. You got boxers in your trunk. You aren't the father? This child isn't yours? You really just put the needle on the haystack. Mr. Turman, you are the father.
Mama Lindsay is not dumb enough that she would let her own son ruin his music career over a trifling mother and a baby who isn't his. So today, the mother is standing against her own son to set the record straight.
Tell the court about Miss Cade and your son's relation.
Nicole is a liar. She's thirsty.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that is not true.
Let me tell you, I have
Hold on, Miss Lindsay, tell me now, what's going on in this
Okay,
relationship
before-
that has you so upset?
Your Honor, before she was ever with my son, she was my daughter right here, Demetrius's best friend. So
Okay.
she has a history.
Whoa, so many loud accusations in one breath. Hello, woman, let the other people speak. Something was definitely up in the palooza. That's why the judge moved to the mommy in question, asking the reason behind such strong animosity.
She didn't want me to be friends with Demetrius. Whatever, that's fine, but we were still friends. I've been in love with Marvin since I was 16. She just has a problem with our whole relationship, and it has nothing to do with the baby.
Why do you think she has this issue?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
She's had a problem with me. I was nice to her in the beginning. I never done anything.
The angry grandma explained herself by saying that the young defendant was trying to rip her son from her, and that was unacceptable. Miss Lindsay never wanted her daughter to mingle with Miss Cade. Ironically, now she had her son in a paternity trap.
She had a C-section. I tried to run up in that delivery room. They called security on me because I was gonna be the first one to see that baby. I love all kids.
Security on
They
you at the
called
hospital?
security. They
security on her. She's going
They
crazy.
sure
You
did.
Running like that in the delivery room? Isn't that a little too much, madam? Well, the plaintiff claimed that her son was too naive and she was trying to protect him. But did you have to act that crazy? Maybe her extremism is what's getting the job done.
Well, shouldn't your son be the first one along with the mother?
No, because he's too naive.
Mr. Wells, do you believe the baby is yours?
I hope that the baby is mine with everything in my heart. I hope that it's my baby.
I think he would
I've
believe
been there
it more
for the baby
if
since
she
day
didn't
one.
keep
Hope
interjecting
and
and saying
believe
no.
are two different things.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact.
Even though he was standing tall at the defendant's podium, Mr. Well wasn't sure either if he was the father, because his girlfriend herself had confessed about sleeping with someone else while they were on a break.
I believe that it's my baby and I want it to be my baby.
So when you say, I don't know for a fact,
her hair is real slick and curly, this the best hair today.
Good hair. I have good hair.
You don't have no good hair. You just a liar.
I got good hair.
Hold on, this can't just be about hair, can it? What else? Are there any other factors? Well, about that, turns out there was one. Wait for it. It's the toenail that gives it away. Apparently, the whole Well family has a signature toenail, which was showcased like this.
Jerome, take a close look at toes. I'm gonna stand up.
Yeah, see this stuff
Oh,
right here?
boy, you know you should have put
You
some
see?
lotion on your mother was
You
gonna do
see
this.
it growing straight up, sir. You see that? You see this baby toe? This is my child. It don't grow like everybody else. It
Jerome,
goes
do you
straight
see
up.
it?
I see it. I've got the same
Okay,
problem.
thank you. Thank
Jerome,
you.
oh no!
A lot of confusion going on here. Next, the judge called in the best friend as the witness, who told about the promiscuous tendencies of the defendant, how she lists men spellbound with her love, and the baby was more likely theirs.
It doesn't
She didn't
matter
tell me
what
until
we do.
after the fact that she had unprotected sex.
So
way after
whether they were on a break or not, there's still a 50-50 chance pretty much that this child could either be your brother's or someone else.
It could be a 10% chance that it's his and 10% chance of mine other. I don't know.
Hold on now. Wait a minute now.
That's just getting ridiculous.
These people were more focused on their clash of egos than the beautiful child. I mean, why neglect a child's warmth and care just because you don't like their mother? Is that a way to act? However, the plaintiffs further had this explanation for their attitude.
Did you want to add
She
one
ain't
more
gonna
thing,
always
Miss
be your
Johnson?
girlfriend.
Let's
I
get some
will.
order. Miss Johnson, what would you like to
Another
add?
reason that I don't believe that this would be his is because, like I said, she lies so much. This is not the first time that she's betrayed me when it came to a man. Second time, and it's just repetitive lies and
Thank
things
you.
that she doesn't tell us until after
I
the
rest
fact.
my case. I sure do.
Nonetheless, the defendant wasn't the only one hiding the truth. It further got revealed that Mr. Wales' sister knew about the pregnancy. Still, she hid it from her brother in hopes of not losing her sibling.
This is destroying the fabric of many of your relationships because you're one with Miss K, your sister, and your mother.
Yeah, so I'm torn between the family and just all three of
We're
these
gonna break this up
individuals
today,
right
sugar.
We ain't breaking up nothing. He's
You
gonna be
not
right
gonna
back
be with
with
you.
me.
Just want your money, son.
Oh boy, these people are cray-cray. They're focused on everything except the baby. It's like they can't help but to act like children themselves, hiding pregnancies, sleeping with multiple men, and showing off toenails. Let's end this charade for good.
Mr. Well, you are her father.
Titled Double Trouble, Rajot's family came to paternity court to solve not just their paternity dispute, but also their trust issues. The only bummer was the 2-year-old daughter was paying for the friction between them.
Now, Mrs. King Rajot,
Tell the court why you're here today.
I'm here today to prove to my husband that our daughter Destiny is in fact his. It is tearing our family apart pieces by pieces because he denies her.
You heard the woman. The daddy was neglecting his youngest. It was further revealed that Mr. Rajot took care of his other children as well. And when the judge asked the plaintiff about these accusations, he brushed him off like this.
I may stay distant a little bit, due to my concerns. I treat her the same as I treat all the other children.
He's lying right now.
tell me why you have the concern.
All of my family and her family all have brown hair and brown eyes, and this child has blonde hair and blue eyes.
The baby's looks stirred doubt in the alleged mind, while he was claiming that there was blondness on either side of the family. But baby mama added that he was a foster child, and such verdicts were based on assumptions.
So maybe somebody back in the part of his family he doesn't know could have blonde hair, could have blue
That's
eyes,
incorrect.
could have something.
Yeah, you're
That's
lying
an
about
interesting
No,
point,
you
Mr.
know it's
Rajot.
true.
How do you address that?
that. My dad actually had brown hair and brown eyes, and so I think it's passed on genetically to my family. It's
just
clear to
sounds
see
crazy
right
right now.
there that it's blonde hair and blue eyes.
He's crazy.
You're sitting here lying.
Because baby mama found the appearance argument not valid, Edward testified that he was locked up during conception time. Quite a point, but Miss Rajot nullified all of his claims as lies, because she never cheated on him.
Cheated on my husband. I've never had any sexual nothing.
That's a
It is-
lie.
No,
That's a lie.
it's not like you'll see when the lie detector test comes.
Mommy was rock hard confident. She knew who her baby daddy was. Nonetheless, the plaintiff pointed out the incident in which one of his friends showed a flirty text from the defendant, which was about enough to raise paternity doubt. Mommy, how do you respond to that one?
Wanted to see that he probably was doing himself. That's what he saw.
Was there a text?
No,
Yes, there was.
So-
no,
Yes, there
You
was.
never
You know
sent
there
that
was, too.
text.
no.
Yes, there was.
Interesting.
Sacramento was straight up denying any such entanglement, but the hubby pulled another incentive related to her friend. Apparently, her gal pal was famous for a random guy she met at bars, and he was sure that the mommy was also up to such antics.
So you're saying she has a friend that is a little promiscuous?
Well, I'd actually heard from the event today. I went out to a bar that night, and she had been kissing on another girl. So
My friend was doing it. What she does is her business. What I do is my business. And he gets twisted and tries to act like just because she wants to be a dirty, nasty hoe don't mean I have to be one.
Ooh, woman, you got that right. Still, nothing has been proven that would call for a DNA test. Let's just ask the wifey why she was opting for the lie detector test, because I'm sure the goofy husband wasn't up to any good either.
I was 6 months pregnant with our first child. I went to the doctor for a routine checkup. A few days later, I got a call from the nurse telling me I had to come in and get some antibiotics because I have an STD. And if I'm not cheating, where else did I get it from?
What did she just say? Looks like someone was just too quick to point fingers, wasn't he? And like anyone at fault, he was going off the wall about such revelations and blaming his wife for doing the same thing.
16-year relationship. If the lie detector test comes back and the DNA results come back, then I'm through. When we get home, it's over. I'm
You don't
packing
get
up
to
and getting
pick
out.
when you're through, baby boy. I say when you go,
Mr.
like I have in the
Rajot, I'm
past.
talking about you!
Yeah, none of that tough guy attitude is gonna work here, because Judge Lake can't be played that easily. Now, it was about this swindling. The moment the judge pushed that button, it got out that Mr. here was on an infidelity roller coaster, riding with a woman twice his age.
There's a possibility he has a child by this dirty, nasty little troll that he cheated on me with before.
That's not true, Your Honor. I've been with this same woman for half.
Same thing, while denying fault on their own part, Judge Lake started to get bugged.
You
Something
doing
that you don't
the
got.
biology, she doing the psychology. You all got a whole bunch of education going up in here. If only we could figure out marriage?
Yeah, they were happy once. In fact, they were madly in love. The couple had a cute island wedding, and very soon into their marriage, Edward started cheating on his wife. The guy had commitment issues, as he kept hitting on everyone, including his in-laws.
Mr. Rizzo, are you
Like I said, a
hitting
dirty
on her
nasty.
family members?
Your Honor, with this situation.
What is the thing?
The thing is, I've been with the same woman since I was more than half my life, since I was 15 years old. You know, I started to get in the itch and wanted to go outside of our relationship.
So the guy got bored with being with the same woman. How can he say such things? This wasn't the only factor, as in Edward's words, Mommy's weight was also pushing him away. So, you can imagine where this was going.
A husband, you've got to understand.
You act like you're pretty or something.
You act like you
No,
perfect or
but the
something.
point is that's your wife. You're supposed to love her unconditionally.
Yeah, the keyword unconditionally, sir. The way the judge came to the cheating with the family member part? Well, turns out that Mr. Rizzo was caught getting cozy with his own sister-in-law. Ish, dirty, nasty.
She should know me better than that.
That's
through
why.
through thick and
That's
thin,
why
we've
there's
always
another
been there.
situation.
Through the rough edges, we've always ended up
That-
to get out the rough edges.
You have betrayed her in other ways, but you're saying you would not betray her in that.
Never.
We get back on the rough edges because I forgive his life.
It's like their trust issues have gotten them to this point that they're doing nothing but going in circles. So, it's clear they both expect each other to go low, then lower. So there was only one solution left to settle this once and for all.
You are her father. I want to tell you both that you passed. You've never cheated on your husband. He did not sleep with any of your family members.
Not always easy, especially when a woman has pulled back the strings of her past. Here, the plaintiff dragged her ex-husband and his wife to prove the paternity of her daughter because they didn't accept and ignored the existence of the little girl. But Mr. Wallace said he had no problem supporting her unless proven wrong today. So to clear the plaintiff's claim, a DNA test is required.
Me and Ryan has been honest with each other in the past. I know exactly how many kids Ryan has. I'm not sure if she knows. He was there when I told him I was pregnant, and if he was at home being a husband, then we wouldn't be here in DNA court because I don't sleep around with people's husbands.
Running around.
Chasing cats in the street.
The defendant said they had moved on and both of them were doing their things, except for just one night when they slept together. Upon this, the plaintiff questioned him of unequal treatment of their daughter, and she continued telling the story of that galaxy night with Mr. Wallace.
I tell him the story about these people who's married, and I'm telling him, why would I sleep with a married man when I got my own husband? He took me all the way to Orion's belt. I saw the moon and the stars and the sun and Orion's belt. I knew, oh, yeah, that's mine.
The starry night must be really heavy around the sun, stars, and moon. Hearing the story, the defendant said it was just a one-time thing, but the judge asked the plaintiff about her pregnancy, and Mama said she got to know about it just after 3 weeks.
I felt it as soon as I got back down, I woke up and came back to reality. Oh, I just had sex with my husband.
And you said, I think I'm pregnant, or you just knew it was a possibility?
I thought I was pregnant.
Mr. Wallace, I want to hear from you, because at that time, you're still legally married.
I told her we gotta do it. I have to do what I have to do to take care of the baby.
A woman's honesty cost her badly. The plaintiff admitted that she slept with someone else without using protection, but upon the judge's question of his doubts, she explained how things created doubt in his mind.
Did you have unprotected sex with someone?
Yeah.
Did you have unprotected sex with anybody during the window of time when a Raylan was conceived?
No. He always want to try to say, oh, she looked more and more like me. I said, I don't know who she looked like, because she's light-skinned. So if she's light-skinned, I'm not going to just be like, oh, she looked like you. I'm not about to go through all of that.
The judge asked the defendant about the time he was intimate with her, and he told the dates, but forgot their daughter's birth date. They discussed the conception dates, and it was revealed that the plaintiff was right. But here, she had to add more to create doubts.
That adds up with her testimony that you are the biological father. Were you intimate, Ms. Wallace, with any other person slightly before or after this estimated window?
I don't think it was that window, but I was with somebody about 5 days before him.
You do understand that all of these things are estimations.
Yeah, I do.
Her testimony is getting shady now. Then, both parties started arguing about matching eyebrows, which the judge had completely forgotten about. So they shifted their focus on the facial features chart. Oh boy, now eyebrows have more validation than a DNA test? Then the defendant explained the relatedness of the feature to his kids.
I have the strong arch of eyebrow. Of all my other kids, my son have them, my daughter have them. Raylan doesn't have my strong arch eyebrows.
That's not going to change the DNA result. I don't know why you feel like she's not yours because of the eyebrows. I felt like she was yours because of what we did and how you acted after I told you I was pregnant.
In the end, the judge asked the defendant's wife about the doubts, and she agreed with the defendant's testimony. Man, the eyebrow game is going very strong here. She also shared the plaintiff's tactics to use her daughter for revenge.
So you are really doubtful about this baby, and you're reinforcing this doubt in your husband. And you're also telling her she doesn't have to call and ask for different things. But if she doesn't have them and the baby needs them,
I automatically sends it.
so you believe the calls are just trying to disrupt your marriage.
Yes.
The plaintiff lost her strength and called him a cheater and said he always made new families in different states. She also complained about how he treated them when they needed him.
My baby 2 years old, he didn't even call my baby on her birthday. Yeah, I don't celebrate. Call her.
I respected you because I knew it.
No, you didn't. It ain't no respect to it.
Did
Can
I call
say
her?
this? If it's about the baby, why they worried about me?
We video call her.
At the end of the day, I only call him when I want something. I don't want his lies. I don't want his time. I don't want none of that. If he's not gonna be there for our daughters, he can go on.
The plaintiff cried about her feelings and was right to claim support for her daughter. But to decide who's telling the truth, it was time to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wallace, you are not the father.
I feel bad for him if he really feels
Good
like
girl,
that.
no, be quiet.
I do.
Be quiet.
I'm just
Feel bad for somebody now. Be quiet.
A poor woman appeared in court to prove her ex-fiance the paternity of her son. But Mr. Buckley not only denied it, but called her a cheater. FYI, the guy had cruelly thrown Miss Curtis and her 22-month-old baby out of his apartment. To settle things, we need a DNA test.
Miss Curtis, you say this court date is extremely important to you. You're here to prove to your ex-fiance, Mr. Buckley, that he fathered your 22-month-old son, Xavier, because his denial has left you homeless and in need of help.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff cried about how she had to leave his apartment and had to go to a shelter house because of his landlord's notice. I'm sure you can imagine how hard things have been for this baby mama since then. But the defendant explained how things went wrong.
With him being in and out of our life and kicking us, not only me, but his son out of his apartment, we landed in a homeless shelter.
I didn't. I allowed her to live in my apartment at that time. I was being nice to her. She got mad at me because I was with someone else. I didn't want a relationship with her. She was gonna make my life a living hell while living in my apartment.
The judge asked the plaintiff about Mr. Buckley's treatment of the kid and said he loved him dearly and gave his name too. However, his doubt had taken over the best of him. Then, the defendant shared a shocking fact about himself.
I was in a relationship before and we tried to conceive a child, and that happened in not only that relationship, but with the following relationship that I was in.
So you've never believed you could have children?
No, Your Honor.
The defendant replied to the judge that he asked about the possible father from Miss Curtis, and she reverted over his statement that he walked away from responsibilities. Well, anyone in doubt would do the same. While they were on it, the plaintiff's words led them to an argument.
For living in my apartment, I allowed you to live in my apartment. You
And
left
still
because
didn't
I
come
didn't
to
want to
see
be
him.
with you.
No, I didn't leave because I didn't want to be with you.
Yes. Every
No.
time I came over there, it was pure heck.
We lived together
I
from
allowed
the-
you to. You had your own apartment.
Yes, but every time I went home, you asked us to come back over.
Yes.
Because
but
you
I-
wanted to spend time with your son, and I wasn't standing between that.
But you are now.
Potential baby daddy continued that he knew about his condition, but still accepted the baby because he loved him. It doesn't seem fair that you just backed away from your role as a father so quickly. He then revealed that Miss Curtis had been having fun with other men around Christmas.
I know who you were with too, and it wasn't just me.
So staying at your house and spending Christmas with you? Who was I having sex with? Your brothers? Your uncle?
No.
Then, the plaintiff shared a memory that after giving birth, they were so joyous and worried about the baby's condition in the hospital, and now everything has changed. I'm feeling bad for the both of them.
My heart wants him to be, but my mind knows better.
If your mind knew better, why did you sign the birth certificate?
Because of my heart's.
Why'd you sign the acknowledgement of paternity? You want to talk about you have doubts that you couldn't have kids? I went through chemo and radiation. They told me all my eggs were fried, that I would never be a mother. But I'm a mother to a beautiful little boy.
Then, the defendant brought his witness, Miss Bunch, to prove his allegations against Miss Curtis, and lots of shady information was revealed to the court. She used her building sketch from the time the baby's mother was pregnant to illustrate the baby mama's promiscuous behavior.
When we found out she was pregnant, she had a boyfriend. They were together.
So what you're saying is from your back door.
That's not true, Your Honor. I lived at the top of a hill. She lived at the bottom.
This is my house, and this is hers.
And I lived on this end.
Her
She
back
lived on
door
this.
is right here.
There's a straight line of sight
everything.
from her back door to her front door.
Now baby mama is in real trouble. Miss Curtis jumped in and denied her allegations and assured the judge that she wasn't messing around during her relationship with Mr. Buckley. She also stated that during her conceiving time, she and her alleged father were just casually involved with each other. This led to questioning the alleged dad about his child support dues, and he gave his reasons.
You signed it voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there a child support order?
Yes, Your Honor.
How much per week are you obligated to pay?
I'm not exactly sure.
He was supposed to pay $216 a month, and then when he quit his job, they dropped it down to $80 a month.
Your Honor, I just got my first child support statement in the mail, so it's not like I've been neglecting it.
The weight of lies was heavier on the plaintiff's shoulders because she couldn't keep her story straight against the defendant. So the judge ended the testimony, and the court was ready for the results.
Mr. Buckley, you are not his father.
I wasn't with anybody else.
Obviously, you were with someone else.
Jesus, Lord.
Your Honor, I'm still willing to be in Xavier's life. The way he looks at me, the way he runs up to me.
A man tightly stuck in the web of lies made by his girlfriend appeared in the court to remove his name from the paternity of a daughter and to get rid of the deceiving partner, while Miss Himes stood strongly with her claim.
Caitlin was my first daughter. She tricked me into thinking that the other guy had done got a paternity test on Caitlin. She tricked me into thinking that family was something sacred.
You believe she was intentionally deceitful?
Yes.
This woman had a lot of mess spread around everywhere, but she only caught this poor man on her web. The defendant told that she only slept once with the other guy when she was in a relationship with Mr. Jordan. Then she shared her confidence about his paternity.
I just came today to show everybody on the streets, his family members, my family members, he's the father, and I'm tired of it.
It's upsetting you.
Yes.
And it's because you feel like they're lying on you? Because Mr. Jordan says you consistently lie.
Because my daughter, she's old enough to realize.
Then the plaintiff shared his love for the baby girl and his activeness in daddy duties despite all doubts. You won't believe what this man went through. Listen to his surprise, the heartbreak moment where things fell apart in the first place.
Altercation or whatnot, like an argument. It wasn't even an altercation, an argument. She said something about this family member's in front of this family member's boyfriend or whatever. So the family member turned around and was like, well, why you ain't told Chris that he's not Caitlin's dad? At that moment, it was just like, I was more in shock than it.
This doesn't end here. The poor boyfriend has more to say. The plaintiff continued that he was so confused to know that his alleged baby was sitting on another man's lap. Yes, that was a dope joke. After this, the defendant explained the story of the secret picture.
Who does she think her father is, Mr. Jordan or Santavius?
Chris, all I said was that I was pregnant when I first found out I was pregnant. I did not say it was his child.
So are you saying he assumed he was the father?
I feel like he assumed that it was his, but it's not his, it's Chris.
The defendant continued and said she told the other guy about the pregnancy and he might have gotten mistaken over it, and she shared everything with him. This doesn't make any sense here. It was too unbelievable that even the judge asked Mr. Knight about that picture, which led to more unconvincing events.
She told when she got pregnant, she like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, what you telling me for? She like, well, it's not Chris, because me and Chris been together a year and a half, and we ain't got pregnant. Soon you touch me, I get pregnant. You know?
No, he's lying. When I came back in town in April, I had sex, and then I found out I was pregnant in June, so how is that possible? I just called him and let him know that I was pregnant.
The judge asked the defendant to reveal the truth, but she kept repeating the same things. Man, this is too much lying. I mean, it's beyond funny at this point. Mr. Knight couldn't stop himself and simply exposed more of her lies.
They try to get me over to come smash that a month ago. Come on, stop lying.
You said she just tried to get you to come over a month ago?
To her house.
Told me that
Yes,
same
Mr.
thing too, Your Honor.
How I know what to say.
What did she say?
Hey, I need somebody to come over here and stay with me because you know my new dude tripping and yada yada yada.
Exactly.
Now, for real. That's irrelevant to what the matter at hand.
The defendant's lies were unbearable for both the judge and the plaintiff. Her story was weak and unsettling. The mess she created took a toll on her life, and the judge had to call for results to end this case.
The biological father is Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan, you are Caitlin's biological father.
The after effects of your actions haunt you until you are left crumbled and hopeless, like in this trial. The plaintiff stood up to prove Mr. Pearson was the father of her daughter, but the boyfriend boldly denied only that baby, except for his other kids with Miss Gray. The defendant strongly doubted that a family member could be a possible father.
I would love to have my family all together because that's what I really came here for. He treats them way more better than he treats her. He buys them things, he don't buy her nothing.
Is that true, Mr. Pearson?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
It is true.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Pearson, why do you doubt Kamaya is your child?
She slept with my cousin, Your Honor.
What?
Exactly what?
The defendant claimed that she slept with his cousin and he caught them when the sideman secretly met her in his house. However, when he confronted his girlfriend, she lied to him till this day. Upon this, the plaintiff revealed the shocking reason for her infidelity.
It was revengeful because he left me in North Carolina when I was pregnant. I slept with his cousin several times too because it was revengeful.
Now the truth come out.
Mr. Pearson, you were never told it happened more than once?
He told me that it happened, and I confronted her about it, and she lied to me, and she still lies to me about it.
The judge turned to the defendant to clarify the situation on these rocky sleepovers with the alleged cousin, and he said that he was told two different stories. One at the aunt's house, and the second at the cousin's house. Then, the plaintiff added light to this matter.
I never told him that it happened at his aunt's house. I never said that. That never came out my mouth because I knew it didn't happen at his aunt's house. Neither that house that we was living in that he's talking about, because he wasn't working. I was the only one who was working in that house.
Either way it goes, if they was able to build relations then, at that present time, I'm quite sure they was able to build relations before.
Mrs. Denial is not strong though. The judge asked Mr. Pearson about a possible father from the family, and he shared the resemblance of the kid with the cousin. Miss Gray cried that he always accused her of infidelity and defended herself with another shocking claim.
Have you ever told the cousin that he potentially could be Kamaya's father?
I told him that he wasn't the father. I told both of them to go get a DNA test.
She's the one that has to prove that this child is mine. I don't have to prove that this child is mine. If she was so interested in telling me, proving to me that I am the father, why she couldn't even get me a DNA test the day that baby was born?
Nothing makes sense here. So let's bring in the other father. The cousin said he knew about the pregnancy but was unaware of paternity, and the time frame created doubt in his mind. But listen to his testimony as he exposed her unsettling lies.
First, no, she was like, she's pregnant, and I was like, well, do you know who it is? And she was like, it's your cousin. But when the baby was born, she said, well, if it's anybody's, it's between you and your cousin.
So she admitted that she's gonna have to have a DNA test?
Yes, but if she didn't think that I was a father, why would she need a DNA test in the first place?
Yeah, he's right. If you're so sure, then why even ask about the DNA? Upon this, the plaintiff tried to defend herself by repeating the same old verses. But this time, her magic didn't work. Judge got sure that she was lying again.
The other Mr. Pearson has indicated that he counted back the dates from when you had Kamaya, and he felt like there could be a question of paternity.
Yeah, but it's not his baby. And I told him that several times that it's not his baby.
Do you believe that, Mr. Pearson?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Was your cousin coming over the house before that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant said he didn't believe any word from her mouth and emphasized that one doesn't sleep with anyone unless one is involved with them. The guy was right. That's why Judge Lake turned to the cousin again about his interest in baby mama.
How do you do that to your cousin? Now you know he's on his way going to work.
It wasn't like how he puts it. I wouldn't just come over there just because he'd be going to work or anything like that. They had a son there. I would always go over there to see DeMonte. I would go play with DeMonte.
It sounds like you went over to play with DeMonte and then you ended up playing with his mother.
No.
Well, it was a nice secret play date that went wrong. So the plaintiff clarified that she didn't sleep with the defendant's cousin until she moved in with Mr. Pearson, which is why the judge brought the sneaky cousin in to tell his side of the story.
It was just out of spite because I had such a strong bond with my ex. And when he went up there and had a baby by my ex, it just kind of broke me down. We're dealing with what we're dealing with, and I broke up with her, and you're gonna go up there and sleep with her, move in with her, and have a baby by her? Months on end before I even did anything, after he even slept with my ex.
I'll call it a spiteful foursome that we can add to our dictionaries. In the end, the judge was done with them and only asked the plaintiff about her hopes for a family. and she shared her thoughts on this.
I just want him to be a part of her life. I grew up without my dad, so I know how that feels. I don't want my child to grow up and be like, oh, where's my daddy? Where's my daddy? He was there all along, but he just didn't want to be. Waking up in the morning and you see your kids every day, you feed them and everything. I want my family.
The drama they played with each other was good, but only destroyed their lives to death. No one was strong enough to handle the consequences of their revenge. In the end, the court was ready for the results.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Theodore Pearson.
Can I see my daughter, Your Honor? I want to go be with my daughter now.
Miss Eubanks arrived in the court to seek Judge Lake's help to save her relationship. She claimed that Mr. Wilker fathered her baby, Maisie. And once paternity was proved, that baby mama expected a ring to pop up. Moving on to the plaintiffs.
Ms. Eubanks, you say you are here to save your relationship with the defendant by proving that he is your 3-month-old son, Mozzie's father. Mr. Wilkes, you say negative paternity results will end your relationship. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the alleged daddy stated that his doubts regarding the potential child had worn out on him, and now he wanted to know for certain if he fathered the baby or not. Further, he said that this dispute had troubled and distressed him.
I'm tired of guessing, wondering, and things of that sort. And like she said, we have been together for so long, so I shouldn't have doubts, but I have my reasoning.
You are troubled about this.
Exactly. Sometimes, I'm stressing, even growing gray hairs. I'm only 30 years old.
The baby mama gave the relationship a recap. It was revealed that they met at a strip club and started dating each other, as they both had goo-goo eyes for each other, but when the baby came into their picture, old romance got watered down like this.
We met each other at the strip club. We was there for a family member's birthday party. It was just love at first sight, we was together ever since. It took a turn for the worse after our first child was born. We had took a little, what he calls it, a so-called breakup.
Whereas the potential daddy accused the baby mama of cheating on him. He alleged that he had caught her texting multiple other dudes, but baby mama wiped it all off by asserting that she had no man in her life other than Mr. David.
She was definitely talking to other people at the time.
I was talking.
When you say talking, what does that mean? Does that mean?
That means that could be sex also.
No.
But we're just not together.
Well, that's not talking then.
I never had no relations with nobody else. I talked to other people when we had that little split, but I never had relations with them.
Oh, next, the guy explained the incident when he confronted the woman at the podium. He stated that when he went to pick her up, he hit her ex. Now you can't blame the daddy for his doubts, girl.
I catch him going in the house, so me being the person that I am, he walked a little closer to the door. So as I walked to the door, he turns around and walked the other way. So when I goes in the house, she's laying in the bed. What are you supposed to expect?
No.
She was acting like she was asleep.
Mr. Wilkes' accusation seemed a little off, but to prove his claims, he brought concrete evidence, which was a video of her dancing with some guys. Ugh, I guess mommy's in big trouble.
Let's take a look at the video. What do we see here, Mr. Wilkes?
We see that's her when she said she had eyes for me. This is during our little separation. That's her dancing. But she's bent over, she just slapped the camera. That's a guy behind her, you can't really see it. You kind of see it? You see that grinding?
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
While the evidence was a shock bomb to everyone, the baby mama claimed that the defendant had deceived her. She told us that he sent her a picture of him with some other woman, but the man did not let mommy turn the point by saying, "We are not in the divorce court."
He sent me a picture of him and another girl talking about this is
This isn't couples court. We're here for a paternity test.
Right, but you love me also.
Yeah, but you're not.
Love me also, but you can't say you love me also.
We're here for
all right.
I guess the baby mama needed to take notes from Mr. Wilkes on how to come prepared in the court. Further, the man brought a witness who recreated the whole cheating dance. Whoop! That little scene made even Jerome dance like this.
You were there that night at this club?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing?
No, he was not.
I'm in the club, I'm standing back, I'm looking. All you see is him all on her. They grinding.
He is lying.
They grinding. They grinding like they.
No.
Like they.
Do it one more time.
Don't even listen
the dudes
to
all
him
on her like
because he's
this.
lying.
As the trial moved forward, Miss Eubanks stated that pregnancy news changed the potential father's mind, and he took her back, and even tried to step up for the coming baby. but the defendant denied all of this, saying that the plaintiff was just making stuff up.
I had met up with Mr. Wilkes, and he had looked at me. He gave me this like weird little look, and then he just started touching on my stomach, and he was like, "Is this the little girl that we've been hoping for?" It was like we was together again, like every day. We was still being a happy family. We was picking out names.
I don't know what she's telling you.
Further, it got told the alleged father and baby mama had intoxicated the situation instead of resolving the friction. But it was evident that both needed DNA results badly for their baby and their relationship. So, let's get those results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilkes, you are the father.
The past caught up to Mr. Norris Sr. when his wife and son chose to look him up after decades. So, Mrs. Norris dragged her husband to the court to prove that he fathered her son, whom he had been denying for 22 years. Let's find out whom the DNA will prove wrong.
Mrs. Norris, you claim Johnny B. Norris Sr. has been denying he fathered your son for the past 22 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Norris, you state that you've always known that Johnny Jr. is not your son. You believe the DNA will finally prove it.
At the beginning of the trial, it was revealed that first, he acknowledged the paternity, but something changed his mind. But their story did start on a good note, as they were once in love and had a shotgun wedding.
Ms. Norris, did the defendant ever acknowledge Junior as his son?
Yes, Your Honor, he did. We were married by my father in our front yard. We had a yard wedding.
It was a shotgun wedding, y'all. I was kind of forced into it due to the circumstances. But I loved her at the time, Your Honor.
So the defendant disclosed the reasons behind his doubts. He claimed that Norris Jr.'s granny told him that he was not the father of the baby. Further, he pleaded that the plaintiff was messing around with her ex when she conceived the baby.
His grandmother said that I wasn't his father. She'd go out from time to time for a couple days consecutive and in the same breath, and I felt like she was sleeping around on me with her ex. Her ex is the name that her mom used when she said that I wasn't his father.
Okay, so the alleged daddy stated that he was tired of his wife and that he wanted to go far away from her. So when he left, he had no intentions of coming back to them. Just a quick question, sir. Why make the alleged son pay for it?
When I left, I had no intentions of coming back. So that's not true because I was done. I moved to Seattle. When I left Florida, I moved to Seattle. I wanted to get way away from it.
I'm reiterating.
And he wasn't the reason why I left. It was the mom.
However, the plaintiff wiped all the claims and testified that her mother was angry at Mr. Norris because he wasn't treating her the way she deserved, and he was the deceiver. So this is why she blurted that he was not the father out of her rage.
She was angry with him because the way he was treating me. And we wasn't getting along. And she knew that he was a cheater, being with us.
5 years
and
old.
he was still,
I've been in
a cheater,
in
and we
other
were married.
relationships.
Why would I look for you? You left.
Just something.
You left your son.
Up next, the woman claimed that she started her search mission after moving to Georgia. She hit him up online, and they spoke on the phone and exchanged numbers. But Daddy acted like he had amnesia.
And we were able to find a family member of Mr. Norris. I gave them a number to contact me, and he did. I gave him an address for my son to write him, and he's promised that he would, which that never happened.
Further, it slipped out that Mommy talked to the second wife of her husband, and she assisted her throughout. And Norris said that both women had a conversation on Facebook. Uh-oh, I think he meant Fakebook.
Get on Facebook.
No, I don't go on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook, Your Honor, that often. I speak with her on the phone.
And stuff like that.
On the phone.
I mean, right now,
She's the trip.
She don't know who Beverly is, but they speak to each other, and it's like they've been knowing each other.
Now it was the time to hear from Miss Beverly. She claimed that she heard rumors for years that her husband fathered a son, and it got confirmed when she contacted the defendant's first wife on the Spacebook. Whoosh, I think I'll sign up for this social media ASAP.
I heard rumors through the years. I got on Facebook and I contacted his son, got Mrs. Norris's number and talked to her on the phone. I asked her, had she divorced him? And she said no.
It was apparent that Norris Sr. neglected his potential child and baby mama, but he did not stop blaming the plaintiff for his mistakes. Further, he asserted that Mrs. Norris had ruined his marriage life by getting a space book. Somebody please tell me what a space book is.
That's your husband.
Your Honor, she's running my marriage. She is.
How am I running your marriage?
By getting on Facebook, talk.
No. We
women
talk
gossip
on the
stuff.
phone only, Your Honor. We have never talked through Facebook.
Well, not hard to find. All she's got to do is type in her husband's name.
Thank you.
Even though Judge Lauren heard a lot of their testimony, this never-ending disagreements and arguments were making things more complicated. Things were all over and not getting to the point of resolution. So the only way was with those results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Norris Sr., you are not his father.
I told you, Your Honor. I told you he wasn't my son, Your Honor.
Well, I believed he was, and I do apologize.
Miss Sander admitted to testing another man for the baby's paternity, but when it came back negative, she aimed her arrows at her ex. However, Mr. Brady neglected the claims and asked baby mama to point her finger at the baby's real daddy.
Miss Sanders, you admit to having another man sign your 6-month-old son Caleb's birth certificate, but now say that Caleb's real biological father is Mr. Jamarvis Brady.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brady, you claim it is genetically impossible that you are Caleb's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The trial started with the plaintiff stating that she had done everything alone for the baby and that the potential dad was a deadbeat. However, the baby daddy stated he felt no obligation to a child who wasn't his.
Miss Sanders, what has Mr. Brady done exactly for baby Caleb since his birth?
He has not done anything, Your Honor. I had to get Caleb baby food. I had to get him diapers, clothes, everything, and that is not cheap.
I don't care about the baby being pretty. I care about if the baby mine or not.
Why
I
would you
take
wait
care
this
of
long?
my responsibility, not another man's.
The defendant presented a compelling argument to the court and said that the green eyes of the baby had pulled doubts into him. And to support his claims, he put forward the history of his family's eye color like this.
My grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. Me, I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby. Because it ain't my family. And I'm looking at them, it ain't their family either.
Maybe Miss Sanders has green eyes
When my
and that
grandmother
genetic
first
trait in
seen-
her family.
Mr. Brady further stated that his doubts flared up when baby mama did not let him assist through the pregnancy, as she was stubborn as a mule. But the plaintiff refuted his claims and stated that when her ex came back into the picture, the defendant decided not to sue mommy.
Initially tried to go to the appointments, John. I tried a lot. Catherine's just a handful.
He was playing me from the left because I didn't want to be with him no more. So he got mad because I got that.
Have you asked Mr. Brady for any help? Did you say to him, sir?
At the beginning I did, but he's so nonchalant about everything. It's not even a point to even talk to him. We don't have any
I initially
communication.
tried to take care of
communication.
As the trial proceeded, it was revealed that Miss Sander was all alone throughout the pregnancy, because her man chose shoes over his girlfriend and baby. And this is why she let her ex sign the birth certificate.
When I was pregnant, he never even cared. I don't think he cared about was some shoes. When I first told him that I was pregnant, I called Mr. Brady and I told him, I said, I'm pregnant. I want to let you know. He just sat on the phone, didn't say anything. I'm saying, hello.
Further, it was revealed that she tested another man and had knocked him out of this paternity run. But the alleged father's doubts were also real, as there was another on the baby's birth certificate. So she better not blame the defendant for his doubts.
You tested another man.
Yes.
You found out that he was not the father.
Yes.
And after you got that conclusion, you knew that at this point, Mr. Brady was the only other option?
Yes.
And you're positive that he was the only other option?
Yes.
If she was sure that the baby's mine, why would she let him sign the birth certificate instead of telling me out the dribble? Like,
I've been told him that I was pregnant. He never cared.
To understand this mess, Judge Lake summoned the witness to the podium. She testified that the defendant was a deadbeat dad, and mother was sure he was the only potential father left in the picture, as the other man had dropped out. But the daddy stood persistent on his allegations.
I believe my daughter. I don't know Mr. Brady. This is my first time ever seeing him. Since Caleb's been born, myself and my husband step up. We buy this baby everything when she needs help. We step up. Even if you think that he may be your son, won't you feel like a fool if he's your son and you've never contributed 1 red cent towards taking care of him? You know what I mean?
Nonetheless, Ms. Sanders claimed that Mr. Brady had humiliated her by denying his son in front of her acquaintances. Oh my! Boy, who on earth does this? Why would you embarrass someone like that? Especially when there's a baby involved in this situation.
After he embarrassed me in front of everybody, I have not had no dealing with him at all. One day I'm walking through the neighborhood, he just called my name out the blue. I'm like, okay, here we go with this mess again. He said, can I see the baby? I said, yeah. I lift the blanket off his head. Here he go. I told y'all that's not my baby. Y'all look, this is not my baby. Look his eye, that's not my baby.
Well, it'd be nice if somebody else knew besides me.
They were not on the same page, and their back and forth arguments were not helping Judge Lake to figure out the solution to this paternity mess. So the ultimate way to settle this conflict was to declare the results they needed.
In the case of Sanders versus Brady, pertaining to 6-month-old Caleb Robinson, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brady, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Your Honor.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there. Stand right where you're standing.
A treacherous wife dragged her husband to prove the paternity of her daughter. However, Mr. McDowell asserted that his ex-wife was a trollop, which made him stand out of fathering Chase. And the DNA results will end this discussion for good.
Ms. McDowell, you say you have no doubt that your 1-month-old daughter, Annabelle, is your husband's biological child because you claim you only had sex with Mr. McDowell during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McDowell, you say that once the DNA results prove the child is not yours, you want out of this marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the defendant said that the whole family had been defaced due to baby mama swindling. McDowell's infidelity ripped her apart from her children. Ma'am, were those skirt chasers worth ruining your family?
The children we have lost their mother. I'm a single father at the moment. I'm taking care of them by myself. She just one day told me she was gonna go to her friends. Well, the next day, the female friend she went to go spend the night with called me and said she walked into the home and caught her, Miss McDowell, and her boyfriend on the couch cuddling.
That's a lie.
Whenever I brought it to Miss Adele's attention that I knew about it, she said that's what friends do.
However, the mommy stated that her husband was the flagrant man who asked her to sleep with another man in front of him when she was intoxicated, and this gave her the red flag.
Him and the friend that I went and stayed the night with was drinking that night. We went to the store, and on our way back, he's gonna tell me that I could sleep with this dude in front of him and watch me mess around with this dude. And I told him, I said, no, I'm your wife, and that's not right.
Oh, so suddenly the red flag turned green, huh? And led Mrs. McDowell to another man's bed. And the potential father revealed that baby mommy had numerous guys in the picture. However, folks, you know this. What's more needed to ride on this paternity mess? Absolutely nothing.
Went out to my friend's house. Dude was my friend and the chick was my friend. I did not know she was planning on leaving that night. It's the whole reason I ended up asking to stay the night.
But you ended up in the bed with this guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
You end up pregnant and you tell your husband?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was his response?
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
Even though the plaintiff admitted the claims of deceiving, she did her best to prove herself innocent. So next up, she brought the calendar of conception to support her claims and allegedly explained that Mr. McDowell had impregnated her like this.
The 27th of October, you were intimate with your husband,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
McDowell. And then on the 9th and the 10th of November, you were intimate with the other man in question.
Yes, Your Honor.
The 27th is when you slept with your husband, Mr. McDowell.
Yes,
so
Your Honor.
you figured it was his child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Further, the man explained the incident of overhearing. He explained the wicked conversation of baby mama, mocking that she already knew about him not fathering her baby, but gaining financial benefit was the motive behind it all.
May I say one more thing? We had a court scheduled in our town. I was walking down the hallway. I was running late for court. She did not know where I was coming. I tucked in behind the corner to where no one could see me, and I overheard her telling somebody and laughing that she knew the child wasn't mine and that she was just playing us for the money.
So, it was time to hear from the witness. Ms. Combs alleged that baby mama duped her into a paternity mess, which is why she took her in, supported her, and gave her boyfriend money to work. Yet the deceiving did not stop.
She told me from day one that it was his, like she's saying now. I believed her as a grandmother.
Well,
I took her to the doctors. She called me wanting food. She called me wanting money. I done her and her boyfriend's laundry. I even give her and her boyfriend money to come and do stuff at my house just to earn money.
Ms. McDowell confessed that she dumped her husband for her lover, Mr. Alfred. But it turned out that she'd been intimate with both men in the window of conception. So, you know, guys, when things like this happen, you roll up to the paternity court.
November the 9th, I sat there and messaged him on Facebook, seeing if I can come over and chill with him and hang out. And then, yes, we ended up having sex that night.
While you're married?
He asked me to come back the next day, and I told him I would. Well, we ended up getting together that next day, which is November the 10th. And we had sex that day, too.
And now you're boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes.
Finally, the second potential father came in. He claimed that he did not believe either one of them was the father, but instead, there should be another man who could be the biological daddy in this paternity contest. Oh my, the lady's straight up scandalous.
Do you believe your baby Annabelle's biological father?
Personally, I don't believe me or Michael, either one or the father. I think it might be the gentleman that she was with before she tried to work things out with Michael.
What's interesting here is you say the baby's your husband says the baby's your lover, and your lover says the baby's by another.
As the trial proceeded, it turned out that Miss McDowell was hopping between 4 men simultaneously, and Mr. Alfred caught her messaging another man about the child. Regardless of his doubts, he signed the birth certificate.
Miss McDowell, how many men were you sleeping with?
I was with 4 dudes all together. That's including Mr. Alfred and McDowell.
I had also found messaging from Facebook from this other gentleman to Mrs. McDowell asking about her pregnancy and the child. And to me, that seems kind of fishy. Why would he be asking unless he thought he might be the father as well?
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
It was evident that baby mama was debauched and her promiscuity disrupted multiple lives. And she could not blame the defendants for their doubts. So the last hope to get closure for the baby was to reveal the results.
In the case of McDowell versus McDowell, when it comes to 1-month-old Annabelle Alfred, as to whether Mr. McDowell or Mr. Alfred is the biological father, Mr. Alfred, you are her father.
A man fathered 2 sons from different women, but credited them with the same name. See, in this case, Mr. Macon dragged the defendant to the court, saying that she was trying to pin her baby boy on him, and he has concrete evidence to prove his testimony. Let's watch.
You claim you can prove he got you pregnant at the same time, and now you both have 2-year-old children named Stephen Macon Jr.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Macon, you claim to have concrete evidence that will prove to the court there's no possibility that you could be Miss Puckett's child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial began with the man's suspicion. He told the court that the plaintiff has multiple kids from multiple fathers. Huh. After this case, maybe there will be more potential fathers in this run. But anyway, let's determine if his evidence was really concrete or if it was just a sham show.
She got 5 kids by 5 different baby dads.
And you could be the 6th.
No, I ain't. If we ain't have sex till like 3 months after, I wouldn't even have sex with her. 3 weeks after I met her, she got my name tattooed on her neck.
You got his name tattooed on your neck 3 weeks after
We ain't
you
even
met her?
had sex yet.
No.
Oops. Folks, a double relationship can cause double trouble. Even though Mr. Macon was busy with 2 women at one time, he did not let anyone catch him red-handed. I guess he was an expert at playing safe.
We was dating. He was treating me real good. He buy me stuff. He give me money when I needed it. If I needed anything, my kids anything, he'd do for them. When I was pregnant, he was rubbing on my belly like he was happy and he was concerned about it. And I have a picture of him rubbing on my belly when I was about 7 months.
Let me see that picture. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? Mr. Macon, are those your hands and your jacket?
Yeah.
However, things were quite serious because now there was a baby in question. And did it change anything? Not at all, as Daddy was still clowning and asserted that he was trapped by baby mama. However, Judge Lauren did not buy that at all and thrashed him like this.
Man, I felt like it was too easy. You trying to throw it at me. Okay,
Well,
I
you
see
caught it.
it.
You had sex with her. I couldn't imagine. Giving someone their father's name is about creating lineage, line.
Right.
Not this way. Not 2, right?
Right.
So now this is serious.
Here comes the plot twist. Miss Puckett bolted out of the blue the plans of Mr. Macon about moving together as a couple. And to prove it, she had some solid proof. Huh. You know what, folks? Screenshots never lie.
If it was his, it come out to be his, that we was gonna make love to the sunrise.
Right, I said that.
So you have evidence of that?
I have one of the evidence.
Jerome, will you please hand that to me, please? If he is, like I said, I'll apologize to him. I'll come get him and whatever else needed, and I'll apologize to you, and we can blank till the sun comes up.
Further, it was revealed that the alleged father was there for the birth and even signed the birth certificate. This time, even Mommy came prepared with concrete proof. So, with the procession, things started drowning baby daddy, but he was still confident in his defensive drama like this.
He came in and he was looking at the baby, playing with my son. He said, so what you naming him? I said, I'm naming him after my brother. I said, because that's what my grandma want me to do. No, you're not naming him that. You're not naming him that. You're
I left.
with somebody
Literally,
clock in the
I don't
morning.
even think it was 10 minutes. I looked at the baby. I said, look here, I gotta go. I got some things I gotta do, and I left.
That doesn't even sound right.
Seriously, that's exactly what happened.
Finally, Miss Glover was summoned to add some sense, but instead, she added fuel. As the woman testified that one of her acquaintances dropped a bombshell about Mr. Macon's adultery on her, and she tried to approach Miss Puckett, she locked the door in her face.
Steve's phone is ringing. So I'm like, who's that on the phone? He's like, oh, it's somebody playing on the phone. Let me answer that for y'all in the plan. Hello, who's this? She like, my name is so-and-so. Your man, Steven, is sleeping with her. I said, open the door. Next thing I know, I click, click, the lock. She didn't hit the lock. She got smart.
Were you there the day she knocked on the door?
Yes, I was there. And the way she was doing, boom, boom, boom.
I sure was.
As it was clear that Miss Glover was eager to take revenge on the plaintiff, she testified mean and offensive things. But Judge Lake sensed her intentions, so she articulated some vehement things for good.
She wouldn't have been prompted to fall in love enough to do something as silly as put his name on the back of her neck if he wasn't with her. From hearing Mr. Macon's testimony, he does not help it any. You just right in the middle with your hands in your pocket. You didn't have anything to do with it when you got everything to do with it and everybody got your name.
However, it was evident both parties were busy proving the other wrong, and nothing was helping in this jumble. Despite these, Mr. Macon was surely the rabble-rouse in this. Now, it was time to get results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Macon Sr., you are his father.
You sent her that text message talking about some that's your baby, that y'all can go have sex on into the sunlight? Well, sunlight time, baby. I'll holler.
Infidelity is the relationship crusher, and when things like this happen, probably you end up in paternity court. Ms. Humphreys rolled into court to prove that Mr. Moosley was the biological father of her son. Likewise, the defendant urged baby mama to aim her arrow of fatherhood at her ex, whose relationship is in turmoil as a result of her accusations.
Ms. Humphreys, you are in court to prove that Mr. Mosley fathered your 2-month-old son, Tyler, while he was separated from the mother of his children. Mr. Mosley, you say she's going after the wrong man and that she should be pointing her paternity finger at her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Cook, because he's the baby's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, the trial with baby mama's confession of being intimate with both men at the conceiving point. The mother was convinced that the defendant was the biological father. However, Daddy's testimony will befuddle you.
When I got conceived, we were sexual. That was like the end of August, beginning of September.
Were you having sex with anyone else during that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that sex also unprotected?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mosley, do the dates add up in your mind as she says she was intimate with you at the end of August?
Your Honor, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't even paying attention. I was there for the sex.
However, the potential father explained his doubts by saying that he can only father light-skinned babies, and the plaintiff's baby did not possess any features similar to him. Now, this is not helping at all, right, folks? As you know, babies come in all shapes and colors.
I got light skin. Y'all see this? I got
It don't matter.
You're saying that your children look like you. You don't look anything like Tyler.
No, I don't. I mean, look at my children. They got my same chin. They got the big cheeks like me. Not only that, they was by the same woman and they still don't look like her.
And that leads you to doubt.
Yes.
Up next, Mr. Moosley tried his best to frame his baby mama. The guy played the blame game and asserted that nothing wrong would have happened if she had not left him alone. Oh my, this is what we call a blame shifter. Boy, you better stop beating around the bush.
All I can say is this, I feel like it's her fault too, Your Honor. She should never broke up with me. If she never broke up with me, I would never did what I did.
Also, it's Ms. Robinson's fault.
Hey.
Ms. Robinson, this is all on you. So Mr. Mosley says this is all your fault. This would not be happening if you had not left him, so you can blame yourself.
No.
So, it was time to hear from Miss Robinson. She said that what this court has seen was just the trailer that this licentious story had given her, because lustful individuals have somehow pulled her into their disaster.
This is his fault and this is her fault, and my thing is this: he's been doing things with women. This is just the pinch of it. Out of all the people, Your Honor, that he messes with, she contacted me. She left me a message on Facebook. Tell my lying baby daddy what your lying behind. You brought me into this. I had nothing to do with what y'all had going on.
Further, it was revealed that the plaintiff was playing a game of paternity with both men, because she posted on Facebook that Mosley was not the father of her baby son. However, the baby knew how to blow it all.
She plays both men. That's what she's doing.
Okay.
She's playing both sides.
Why is this your business?
She's telling one man he's the father, then she's telling him a week ago on Facebook that James is not the father.
Because you keep doing this. Stop doing this. Stop trying to be all up in my business.
You put me
Tyler
in that,
don't belong to you.
On that.
Even though the promiscuity of Miss Humphrey and Mr. Mosley was at its peak, and they already had one baby in question, still they were messing around with each other. Oh my, somebody please stop them, or they're gonna have to roll up in here again.
What is the nature of your relationship with Mr. Mosley now?
We still sexual. We friends.
I can see by the look on your face that she's telling the truth.
She telling the truth.
So you still have sex with Miss Humphrey?
And still going to continue to once this is done.
Yes.
See? Yes. Drama.
No, it's the truth.
Nevertheless, the defendant confessed his love for Miss Robinson, but it got drifted when he let another woman in. That seems defensive, huh? Well, don't worry. Baby mama cut his chase off like this.
I love Tamika, all right? I'm not in love with her. I used to be in love with her, but like, I kind of drifted off, you know what I'm saying? I never had a father in my life to actually teach me certain things. And I know I shouldn't put this in the picture. You know, my mother taught me characteristics of a man. She never taught me how to be a man.
You making babies and then you denying and you don't want to take care of the ones you have. That's the thing.
Finally, Judge Lake summoned the other potential dad to clear up this paternity mishmash. He declared that Miss Humphrey and Mr. Mosley were perfect deluders for each other, and was sure of not fathering the plaintiff's son like this.
To tell you the truth, I do not know. I mean, I would love to be his father, but them two, they both liars.
Yes.
They perfect for you.
Especially
him. I went to take the DNA test. I see him and he told me him and Shanita haven't been having sex in months. But I just heard y'all say y'all having sex.
Here comes the spoiler alert. The baby mama was caught again. As it slipped, she was playing the part on both sides of this paternity question. Her mastery of swindling has been further revealed by more revelations.
Miss Humphreys, are you telling him that he's the child's father? And you're telling Mr. Mosley he's the child's father. Why is that your approach?
Because I was having unprotected sex with Mr. Cook and I was having unprotected sex with Mr. Moley.
But you didn't tell other one was a possibility.
I did.
It was evident both parties were lying and their partners were suffering due to their mendacious nature. So, the only feasible way to solve this paternity riddle was to know what the DNA envelope is holding.
It has been determined by this court. His biological father is Mr. Cook.
Good.
Congratulations, Mr. Cook.
Mr. Montgomery stepped up in the court where a paternity nuisance smote him. He claimed that Miss Parker led him to believe that baby Timothy was his biological son, and she even allowed him to name the baby. However, when the defendant's ex-lover returned, she changed her mind.
Mr. Montgomery, you say Miss Parker led you to believe you fathered her 3-month-old son, Timothy Montgomery, but now Miss Parker says you're not the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Parker, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Montgomery is not your son's biological father because your fiance, Mr. Lanou, is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though the baby was named after the plaintiff's deceased father, it did not change the fact that baby mama was entertaining 2 guys, and this brought them to this scuzzy like this.
Miss Parker, why would you allow him to do all of these things? Sign the birth certificate? At that time, did you not believe he was Timothy's
I thought he was the father because he looked just like Mark in the ultrasounds. And I believed that he was the father.
Like
I had sex with both of them around the same time and the same day.
It was revealed that the defendant's pregnancy weirded out her husband, who diverted his attention to video games. This opened the door of swindling for baby mama, And such revelations led to the burst of bickering in the courtroom.
A mutual friend of mine and hers introduced us. In the meantime, we're finding out that he's talking to her friends, talking to other women.
Right, but you prying on a woman who's with another man, right?
If you would have stepped up, been there, and actually satisfied her needs, you couldn't have.
Let's get some order.
This is a grown folks talk right here.
In the course of the trial, it was revealed that she had gotten back together with her lover, and they got intimate at her husband's place. Oh man, who even thinks of doing this nasty thing?
The first time he had left was the first time me and her met. Throughout the whole time, even told him that we were sleeping together after he came back.
Yeah, he did.
He used to go upstairs to shower, and I'm over there having sex with her downstairs or the same chair he's sitting in there playing Xbox.
The infidelity was kept a secret despite the arrival of a child. However, when the mother shared the shocking information about another possible father being involved, things took a wishy-washy turn.
I told him, and
3 weeks after he was born?
No,
Yep. But this is because during that time, Your Honor, that he had threatened to take Tim.
The first time she was able to have sex after the baby was born, she waited until after we were done to sit there and tell
I
me,
had sex
you know,
before I had sex
he's,
with you.
you know, I don't think you're the father. I think, Luke's the father.
However, Mr. Montgomery did not let Miss Parker's promiscuity get in the way, and he developed a fatherly bond with the baby boy. But as you know, when the conniving person interrupts, things fall apart like that.
She called me, video Facebook chatted me on Father's Day to sit there because she goes, oh, well, on the off chance that, you are Timothy's father. I respected that, it made me feel good. I got to see my son on Father's Day. This is my son, and it was dragged away from me by a conniving man who decided to sit there and come in between a relationship.
Even though the defendant was at fault, she was not ready to step back. She accused the plaintiff of being sexual with 2 women, but the man wiped all charges like this. Huh! Now, how do you defend that?
I've been there. I'm all he knows.
No, I was there.
Yes, he has.
That is my monkey man right there. I sat there and fed him bottles. I changed diapers for him. I walked him around that complex. I did one time.
One time.
I have people who live in the same complex of her to sit there and vouch that they watched me walk around with my son more than one time.
After a lot of drama, they could not agree on one point. As you know, swindling gives people a fuzzy time. So the last way to deal with this paternity mess was to get the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Montgomery, you are not the father. Mr. Lanou, you are the father.
And which led a single mom with her mother to prove the paternity of her baby to the defendant's family, and they hadn't accepted the daughter yet. Sadly, the father in question was no more, and doubts were hanging around everyone's heads. So, to get their answers, a DNA test was needed.
I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who failed. Nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm just outcast of the group. She looked like me. So why's the problem?
Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
First, we was best friends.
Were you in love, or was this was your first love?
Yeah.
The plaintiff's mother added that Miss Baker's family was the real problem that had caused them pain. Seems like Miss Hooker's reputation is not clean. Now, it was time for the defendant's testimony on behalf of the deceased son.
We kept hearing that Denia was pregnant, but then when we finally found out for sure, he told me, he said he wasn't the only boy that had messed with Denia. And he made me promise that we was gonna get a blood test, and things didn't go the way we thought they were gonna go, and now we're here.
Over the defendant's doubts, the plaintiff's mother denied it and said he was happy seeing the baby, but still asked for tests. She continued that Miss Baker's family disliked her daughter, and the baby's paternal aunt stepped in and cleared the air.
My mom did tell me, she said something about she think I didn't like her, things like that. She has to understand that sometimes it's hard for people to look, for me personally, to look at the baby because it's just a reminder that my brother's not here. So it's not about her and her feelings. When she does come around, it is a sense of sadness for me.
Baby mama is emotional, but her judgment is wrong. Miss Baker added that her daughter rode the same bus with the plaintiff and told her about the pregnancy, and she communicated with Miss Hooker's mother, and they revealed the news.
So I said, do you know anything of your daughter being pregnant? I say, because the girls say they were on the bus, and she's saying she's
gonna
like,
find out what she having tomorrow.
what she's having and what she's gonna name the baby. And she was like, no. She got home. She ended up texting me a picture telling me, yeah, she is.
We went the next day and found out what she was having.
The defendant's daughter replied to the judge that his brother's words were clear that Miss Hooker was messing with another guy, and this led to an argument between both parties. Tension was rising, but Miss Baker handled it perfectly.
All I say is what my baby said to me. Right. I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Yeah, I'm the one who
and
wrote
that's
the letter.
all I'm concerned with, all this other bickering. And I'm here to do what I promised my son. I'm not trying to do anything against anybody. We never had a problem. She come stay the night when she feel like it, her and the baby.
The plaintiff's mother shared that the missing name of her daughter on the defendant's obituary hurt them a lot, and Miss Hooker got angry over it. It was poor treatment. Let's see what reasons Miss Baker had to offer this time.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
I don't care.
Nobody
do that to me, but I don't like you. That's it. Stop talking to me then.
Nobody, stop it! Stop, please!
Sole parenting is a hard road to walk, and Miss Palmer has been so alone and broken on this path. The defendant denied her claim of paternity and said he won't put up with the baby responsibilities because she had eyes on his money. To reveal the child's real father, we need a DNA test.
I deal with it only because I'm a mother, and it's just like...
Your Honor, first of all, we use condoms every time we had sex.
We never use condoms, Your Honor.
You're raising the child alone?
Yes, Your Honor.
With absolutely no help from Mr. Ross?
I raised my daughter by myself. I never thought I would have to go through this myself. And it's just like, to deal with this, I feel like I should have to go through this.
The defendant agreed to the judge that he wasn't offering his daddy duties and shared how he met the plaintiff, and things took a rocky turn from there. Well, that was fast. But listen to what he said about Miss Palmer's choices.
We were having sex for 2 weeks, but we were using protection the whole 2 weeks. I asked her for a serious relationship. She told me that she wasn't ready yet because she was still messing around with other guys.
You all had sex this first day after meeting at the gas station one day, the next day, good morning, and the next day y'all were in the bed.
Yes, Your Honor.
When she told you she did not want a relationship.
I broke it off.
If she wanted things casually, then how did this situation pop up? Hence, the plaintiff gave her testimony with honesty about the feelings she had at that time and revealed the other guy's involvement.
And then it's just like when I started talking to him, it was just only him. But the month before,
Your Honor, she
was
told me she
someone
was talking to somebody.
I was talking to someone the previous month, yes. But the month that I met him, no.
How soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
My conception date was between the 6th and the 9th. I met Mr. Ross on the 7th. We had sex on the 8th.
The defendant told the judge that about 2 months later, he found out about the pregnancy, and she told him he wasn't the father. Well, then send it to the real daddy. After this claim, the plaintiff explained everyone's doubts.
It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny, it's just like, you know, I left it where it was and I continue with the alleged father.
Of course I'm gonna deny because she told me that I wasn't the father. 9 months later after she had a baby, she comes to me and tells me, well, I think you are the father. Of course I'm gonna have doubts because if she told me that I'm not the father and she was sleeping around with this guy and she lied, then who else to say that she might not be sleeping around with somebody else?
She continued saying that she had tested the other guy, but negative results made her doubt. So she asked the defendant, and he started accepting the kid, and had planned to buy her a car seat. Well, at least Daddy did something for the baby. Then Mr. Ross explained his concerns on her claim.
At this point in time, I was in California. I just kept blocking. I blocked her over 4 times. I done changed my number over 2 times. I told her I'm not the father of that child. And she kept bothering me. I mean, I had to change my number. I had to do something.
You felt bad, but you didn't attempt to help me either.
I said I was gonna buy a car seat. I ain't say I was gonna buy a fraternity test. She trying to trap me because she know I have money.
It's not about money,
She never asked.
Still, things were not clear about the paternity, so the judge asked Miss Palmer about her struggles without a father figure, and she broke down, sharing her fears in the court. It was tough for her, and now her baby was in the same trouble.
I didn't meet my father until a week before I gave birth to my son. It's not a good feeling to have one parent, and he's a boy, so it's just like, I don't want my son just to feel like his dad never cared.
And what was that like for you growing up without your father?
It was hard, and I just don't want the same for my son. Like, he doesn't deserve it at all.
Mr. Ross is just attempting to avoid his responsibility.
The judge asked the plaintiff about the defendant's hesitation, and she said he did it on purpose. but he threw the argument back, saying he asked her to pay for the test and she threatened him with child support. Moreover, he further opened more secrets about baby mama's affairs. The court was ready for the results.
He didn't tell him anything because once I got my DNA test, that was it.
But you were cheating on him.
I was not cheating on him.
Mr. Ross, you are the father.
Are you gonna step up and be his father?
Yeah, he'll take care of him.
This is your biological son.
A promiscuous woman and a liar together made a baby. Now the poor boy was asking for his daddy. In this case, Mr. Black, with utter surety, denied paternity, while the plaintiff was ready to prove the truth to his face. To get closure for the little one, a DNA test is necessary.
When it's Logan's first day of school, he'll ask, "Where's Tyrell?"
I have a lot of doubt on the reason why I'm not the father compared to what Jasmine had done with a lot of shady things that made me believe I am not the father. So
he doesn't show up for his birthday parties. He promised Logan that he would come to his third birthday party.
Going back, they were high school buddies and had a good time, but not sure how long the relationship lasted. Miss Myers listed it as 3 months when he left for another mama chick, but her lover had a different memory. Well, someone here's got dementia.
So you said it was 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it 2 weeks?
No, ma'am. So who picks someone up from work? Who sleeps with the person? Who does homework with the person?
It was just
So in your mind, he was your boyfriend?
He was.
Casual sex. That's all it was. I was a side dude, I found out later.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Lies just don't stop swirling around. The defendant said through a courtesy call, Miss Meyer relieved him of his paternity, but she denied and accused him of lies, saying he was drifting away from the baby. Some shocking truth bombs are thrown by the plaintiff.
He has 3 different kids by 3 different women.
That doesn't bother me. We could have been settled
He even texted me that
and
said he doesn't want the world to know he has another child by another woman.
Okay, so hold on. After you told him, then he slowly started drifting away because he didn't want to be involved.
Not only that, he was back with his ex-girlfriend.
Following up on his courtesy calls, the defendant said he showed up at the hospital, but they didn't let him in. He didn't even wait and left. What a man. Then, Miss Meyer told the whole story from an opposite angle.
I was in labor. I called Tyrell and I said, "Hey, I'm in labor." And apparently his girlfriend at the time, or whoever she was, she snatched the phone from him. She's like, "Oh no, baby, Tyrell's not coming." And so Tyrell did not come while I was in labor. He came 3 days later. I've had this baby by myself. I went through this by myself.
Then, the defendant argued why someone else signed the birth certificate. It's questionable why you would inform someone and next, don't let them participate. Upon this, Miss Myers said it was his other girlfriend that reported her. He won't come to the hospital.
Were you dating, or could he potentially be the father too?
We were just dating. He could not potentially be the father. I'm 100% that he's his dad. Like, I slept with nobody else. He's lactose intolerant.
What that got to do? What that has to do?
That's usually something that's hereditary.
So hold on, I'm still stuck at lactose intolerance.
A health condition is not a solid paternity proof, miss, but we appreciated the laugh. The plaintiff replied to the judge that she wasn't fooling around anywhere, but regarding paternity claims, the defendant disclosed another scenario.
She asked me for a DNA test after she asked 2 or 3 other
That's a lie. I did not. If I have to pay for a DNA test, I'm going to put you on child support. He disappeared again and did not ask anything else about a DNA test.
Her ex-boyfriend actually called me on the phone.
That's a lie.
And had a conversation with me, and he's not mine.
That's a lie.
I hope it works out for you.
After some drama, the case gets serious as Miss Myers shares that she had been absent in her baby's life and she tried to connect them, but the defendant ignored it on purpose. She further shared her parenting struggles. And now, it's time for the results.
This should be about Logan, especially when he knows that Logan's his child. 3 different kids by 3 different people. And there's been multiple emotional messages to him telling him that Logan doesn't deserve this.
Mr. Black, you are the father.
That's okay.
You are the father.
Thank you. I can handle my responsibility as a father. May I see my little boy?
Pettiness is disgusting when you show it to someone innocent and ignorant of harsh reality. A mother called out her ex for being cruel towards her daughter and also practicing favoritism, but the defendant was unsure of the baby girl's paternity. To provide justice to the kid, we just need a DNA test.
Amaya has told me on numerous times that she's sad that her dad don't love her. She did a video testimony of how she feels. You need to change your attitude towards her.
She texts guys all the time. I feel I'm not the father.
She looks just like you.
Maya's like more better. I got other kids. She's like disobedient. She misbehaves, so I gotta treat her accordingly.
The defendant said his doubts stopped him from loving the baby because Miss Martin was always texting other guys. Cheaters are calling each other out. The plaintiff called him wrong and shared her relationship realities in court.
Through our relationship, I discovered he wasn't honest. He had 6 other girlfriends at the time. I realized the car that he showed up into at my house was another female's.
So, Mr. Danfier, did you drive another girl's car to Miss Martin's house?
We wasn't serious at the time. Like, we was just having sex.
The defendant stepped in and continued calling her a swindler and accepted no wrongdoings on his behalf. Well, he talks a lot about cheating. He shared once how he got his initial doubts about infidelity.
And I was messenger calling her, like, she never didn't respond. And then when she come home, her hair all messed up, smelling like sex.
Wait, what?
I respond, like, where you been at? She didn't have no proper excuse for where she been.
He's crazy. Like, these are all his insecurities.
The judge gave Mr. Danfier another chance, and this time he showed naughty messages by the plaintiff to another guy, which he stole from her phone secretly as revenge. She's smart, but how will she defend herself on this?
I want blank blank for breakfast. Miss Martin says, where you at? Mom, same house? Other man says, yup, so you coming? Yup, on the way, be there in 20. What's that emoji down there?
That was just conversation. I've never cheated on him.
The plaintiff admitted those proofs and said she wanted to hurt him, but denied cheating. It's not enough to remove the dirt from your shoulder, but the defendant didn't stop and brought more texts from her phone.
And Miss Martin says, morning. Another man says, I want to see you again, love. And then Miss Martin responds, when?
She said again, that means like you already seen him, so what do you mean?
He's somebody from my past. I've never cheated on you.
But why are you entertaining these men then?
Because he wasn't giving me the attention that I wanted.
The judge asked the plaintiff about the pregnancy, and she said she told him, but he wasn't happy, and further explained that they were still intimate to this day. But he denied everything. Upon this, the defendant said a shocking statement about Miss Martin. The court was ready for the results.
I have said that.
You told him he's not the father?
And then I showed him a random...
She showed me a picture of a guy and said, this is Amaya's dad. They look more alike than me and her. They resemble each other more than we do.
Mr. Danfier, you are the father.
Exactly. Like that.
Sorry, Amber.
Do all sorts of things. Yeah, believe it or not, it can even make mothers deny the alleged right to paternity, no matter how many miles you travel or how much you beg. It's hard to change this mommy's mind.
Why is Ms. Miller saying you're not Zaylee's father?
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off. That's about 10,000 miles. That's wear and tear on my car. She doesn't have a driver's license. She doesn't have any way to bring her to me. She doesn't have any way to meet me halfway.
Hate? That's a really strong word. Would you prefer dislike? Well, no, Mr. Rasmussen. The fact he chose someone else over his ex-fiancée has created a rift between them, and now she wouldn't let her get close to their daughter. Let's see if the Tigerton woman agrees with these claims.
Yes, I was very mad at him for being a cheater. He cheated on me through pretty much our whole relationship. No, I do not hate him because of that. I lost my respect for him, yes.
He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor. The only reason why he wants the visitation is to claim her on his taxes.
Wait, he's doing his taxes? Does that make sense? It did to Mommy, I guess. Still, Judge Lake had a hard time buying it. The money he would get will go into the expenses of seeing his child. Plus, he was already paying child support.
It's clearly not about money if he's paying his child support. And he also spends money coming to see her. What is this really about for you? Why is it you don't want him involved in this child's life?
Because I still believe that he is not hers.
Okay, and listen, that's what we're here for. I want to get down to the bottom of the truth.
How is Miss Miller sure that Mr. Rasmussen was not the biological father? He was playing the full-blown dad. Why would a man do such a thing if there was an ounce of doubt? But baby mama responded like this.
She was conceived in March 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. At that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
I'll be the first to admit it was a mistake.
You heard the woman. She swindled out of spite, which added another potential father to the mix. Then why was the defendant so steady on being a father? Turns out that he found out recently in the couples court while fighting over the custody of the baby girl.
Brings it up that I could possibly not be the father because of another man that was involved, and she gave some date, I can't remember the specifics.
And the other father part popped up when they broke up, which raised more suspicion. In addition to that, he was listed as the father on the birth certificate. And the defendant even told them how excited he was to see her daughter, that he beat his girlfriend to the hospital.
I called my boss at work and said, hey, I gotta take some days off. I don't care if you fire me or whatever, but I gotta stay here. My daughter's being born.
That's a lie. She was born.
That was an amazing story. You say that was a lie?
Yes, it is. After she was born, he was gone.
What's this woman's problem anyway? It's like she's living in her bubble. So the judge straight up asked her. It turns out that after getting cheated on multiple times, she just wanted the man out of her life.
All of this is happening, and this man is continuing to step up to the plate. A daughter on the way, he has a newborn baby girl. Even through the breakup, you all are making custody and visitation arrangements, but you know deep down there's another possible father.
Exactly my point. Why wait so long to tell him? Well, Miss Miller defended herself with the same excuse. The more she grew up, the more her looks changed. My doubts became clear. Oh, if you had doubts in the first place, why not talk about them?
She looks exactly like I did when I was 3 years old. I have a picture of me when I was 3.
And so this is a picture of Zaylee on the left and you as a child, Mr. Rasmussen, on the right.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And you say you see a distinct similarity.
Yes, I do.
Do you see it, Ms. Miller? You feel like Zaylee looks like the other gentleman you were intimate with.
Suspicion or not, it was evident that Daddy was at the podium and was not ready to give up on his daughter that easily. He wanted the DNA results so all of the drama would finally be over. But what if it proved otherwise? Would he be able to bear that bombshell?
Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father.
Cheating on your boyfriend for whom you left your husband. Miss Jackson has been hustling a lot, and now both of her children are in doubt circles. Because even though Mr. Lovett loved the kids, he couldn't shake off the infidelity part.
My oldest son looks different from him. He's darker, he's chubby, got
He has a different mother. Another son by another woman.
Yeah.
He has a different mother. Of course he's gonna look different.
Still, stuff that you been doing, it brings the doubts on it.
Okay.
Like, it ain't like you been good.
You're right.
Of course, you been pregnant.
And you ain't either.
Well, the constant infidelity wasn't only on the defendant's part. She even imposed that the man at the podium was just making things up because he can't commit to one woman. This woman had all surveillance set up on the Orlando man.
I wasn't like stalking you. You gave me your
tracking devices
password.
on my phone, right?
Yes, because I did not trust you.
Every time I delete it, I wake up in the morning sometimes,
and when you get a new
I see a
phone,
little bird on the top of my phone. Like, what this bird doing? You know what I'm
Your
saying?
Honor, he's
so I
been
find the
proven-
tracking device and now I delete it.
He's been proven to be
And
not loyal.
days go by, another tracking device on my phone.
Trust issues are running through this relationship. And next, the plaintiff pointed out that Miss Jackson had too many kids, which shows her dealing with different men. And you can never believe a woman like that, which was hard for the baby mama to digest.
It was her phone. It was her phone. I was talking like I was talking like I was her. I was at work.
Hold on, one at a time. Let me hear
I was
this.
at work and I was but I had her phone. We switched phones that day. So I was texting God like I was her. And then he sent me a picture. The same guy that supposed to be my cousin.
Not true.
Is this the grass cutting guy?
Yes.
I know that makes no sense, so let's make it simple for you. Miss Jackson lied about a random guy at her house being her cousin, and that man used to pop out at her house uninvited, and this added soreness in the relationship.
He recognized the guy's face through my messages. The guy hit me up and said, hey, I never replied back. So he played like he was me and was writing the guy, asking the guy all kinds of questions.
Did Mr. Lovett have any proof apart from that? Well, there was one time when they had broken up, and right after that time, the defendant got pregnant. Quite striking, right? That is exactly how the plaintiff felt too.
You know she's pregnant, but then trying to get back with you because you feel like she wanted you to take care of this baby and all of her other children.
That too, and also she's still married, so I wasn't
And my
taking it
divorce
serious
was
in the beginning.
pending until I got
So I'm
pregnant.
still not
so now we
taking
got
it serious.
kids in between the marriage.
Yeah, we must not forget that she was still married to someone else, so no matter how many boyfriends come and go, her husband will have to take care of all the children, which isn't fair. Listen to the hubby himself.
You are Corey Jr.'s biological father?
No, Your Honor.
We both can't get divorced. He has another woman, other kids in between the marriage. I have another man and kids between the marriage.
You're in legal limbo. You are.
That's what I keep trying to tell him. Do you know if something was to happen to me, that he's their father legally?
They most certainly were in legal limbo. Though the baby mama knew how serious it was, she refused to take all the blame because she was too pretty to be anyone's doormat. Well, no one should be taken as slack. Still, running between men like that is not a healthy obsession.
Mr. Lovett is Corey Jr.'s father.
Oh,
that you're convinced of.
She can't stay alone. And it shows whether I'm in her life or not, she gonna keep it moving.
It ain't my fault I look good.
Yeah, you look good.
You do have trouble being alone.
Yeah,
and that's
I do.
not because you're beautiful.
Right.
That's not how you look on the outside, that's how you feel on the inside, babe.
With that mess being addressed, let's not forget that it was kids who were being neglected and taken for granted. That's why there was one way left to know where their future would land.
You are not his father.
DNA.
Are you sure? How is that possible?
Do you know who his father is?
You know who it is.
Sleep and joy can make you weep in disgust. As you can see in this case, Mr. Boston dragged the defendant into court, saying that he has undeniable proof that there's no possibility of him being the father of this trifling woman. Meanwhile, Miss Murphy asserted that she is tired of the plaintiff's lies, and she wants to stop by conducting a DNA test. Moving to the plaintiffs to see to whom the DNA diagnostic will favor.
Mr. Boston, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you have undeniable proof that there is no way that you are the biological father of 10-month-old son Tristan. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Murphy, you believe the DNA results will be your proof today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the testimony started with Mr. Boston's evidence, and the evidence was invisible. No one could see it, because his dynamic words were the solid, undeniable proof. I think something hit his mind. His words do not seem trustworthy, as he is clearly just bluffing.
What is your proof that you are not Tristan's father?
Your Honor, you have to have sex to make a baby. I don't remember even doing that well.
Lies.
You don't remember
lying.
having sex with Miss
All of a
Murphy?
sudden, why am I
He was at
finding
my
out
house
that?
all the time, every night in my bed.
It is your assertion to this court that you've never been in a sexual relationship with Miss Murphy?
I mean, I'm not denying it like that, but I'm just saying.
Here, the yes or no game begins. Let's play it with him. The defendant stated that they were in a committed relationship, but the plaintiff tried to blow off the baby mama's testimony with his dumb lies like that.
Your Honor, I
rubbed
found
my
out-
belly and everything.
I
He
found
was
out
smiling
that
and
She was
everything.
pregnant in the process of me being
No,
over a
no,
family member's house.
no.
That family member came and told me, well, you know somebody named Therese? At the time, I didn't know her government name. Only thing I knew was
He's
proof.
lying.
You've been sleeping with her for 4 months and don't know her name.
Not even her government name. Only
You
thing I
sound
know
about
was
crazy, Mr. Boston.
Oh my, who on earth is this desperate to be intimate with a girl? Man, you were sleeping with her for 4 months and you still didn't know her real name? What he is testifying is just crazy, or he's just naive.
I wasn't even in her house for 4 months.
He's lying. He's
She
lying,
would
Your
call me
Honor.
and beg
He's
me
lying.
over there
He's
every other
lying.
night.
He was at my house
Sometimes I can't,
every night, sleeping in the
I
same
can't stay over there
bed.
alone, kicking it with them. You know, having beverages, stayed over time, and my mom was asleep, so I couldn't get in her house. So yes, I did spend a
It
night
was
over
an
there, and I
everyday
slept
thing.
on her
It was
float
an
in her living room.
No, lying.
On with the procession of the trial, it slipped out that Miss Murphy was busy with another, but she stated the facts of her being certain regarding the baby's parentage. She told the court that when the baby was conceived, she was with Mr. Boston only.
For the period of time when I found out I was pregnant, he was the only man that I was
No, I was
intimate
not.
with. He was the only man that I was with.
You was
together.
intimate with other guys way
No,
before. 'Cause
one
there was
person
too many
after
guys
him.
that I already
After
knew
him, I
out
was-
there was telling me
No,
her name.
after him, I was
Oh, how
only
you know
intimate
her?
with one
How you
guy.
know her? How you know her? Too many guys.
To clear up the doubts, Judge Lake summoned Mr. Gregory into the court. He contended that they were sexual buddies, and upon getting news about baby mama's pregnancy, he blew everything off and blocked her instantly. I must say, this man has got some nerves. After his false actions, he is narrating them proudly.
We've determined that you, in fact, a relationship with Miss Murphy.
A sexual relationship.
Just a sexual relationship. Take me back to the day Miss Murphy told you she was pregnant.
She texted me on Facebook and told me she was pregnant. I never talked to her again, like deleted everything, so I blocked her.
You got a message on Facebook that she was potentially pregnant by you and you deleted her?
Blocked it.
However, the witness rolled up to the podium and testified in her best friend's favor. She asserted that she also knows that Mr. Boston is the father, and he's just making up stories to avoid the situation.
Who do you believe is Tristan's biological father?
Mr. Boston.
And why is that?
I was living with Teresa the whole time.
When he was saying he wasn't really coming over there that much.
Right, he was.
And he was sleeping on the floor.
He was sleeping in my bed.
Was Mr. Boston the only man coming over there within that 4-month period?
When she was saying him, he was the only man.
Things were out of control, as baby mama didn't even know who the baby daddy was. Their non-serious back-and-forth statements made Judge Lake furious, and she gave the reality check to these adults like this.
If you know you slept with more than one man during the window of conception, it is your responsibility to figure out who that child's father is. You know both of these men could be that child's father. Just because I am empowering this young woman to understand what she should have done, you all are not off the hook. Because I don't like how you all over here scowling at her when both of you lay down with her, willingly.
Their ongoing discussion further fuels the whole situation, instead of helping to resolve the case. But it was quite evident that they needed to know the results for the baby, and his biological father needed to man up. So let's go get those results and see what that envelope is hiding in it.
It has been determined by this court. You are not his father. Do you know who this child's father is? As you come of age and get older, you're gonna learn that sometimes you just gotta put your big girl panties on and you got to tell the truth. And I mean this respectfully.
It must hurt when you plan something good for someone and they stab you in the back. In this case, Mr. Wilson wanted to prove to the defendant that he was not the father of her child, while Miss Dean believed otherwise and said he turned his back on her and the baby. And now his denial is hurting them. So to get the closure, we need a DNA test.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case to prove that Miss Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dean, you say Mr. Wilson has turned his back on your daughter and he welcomed her into the world and signed her birth certificate. And his denial is hurting you and your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The plaintiff said the reason he didn't accept the baby yet and wanted the results. Miss Dean said he was lying and shocked the court with their foolish plans that worked out very badly in the end.
I don't believe I'm the father because I have been fooled by multiple females in the past. I have been going down this rodeo for far too long. I signed on a birth certificate. I'm not there physically. I just can't handle it because she just no consistency. I just want answers today so I can have closure.
So you saying you've been fooled twice, but you're not gonna be fooled again?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Wilson explained his relationship with the defendant and told the plans they had regarding the baby. By far, the story seems fine until the plaintiff commented about the resemblance of the baby. Yeah, an X popped up.
The time I was taking care of my stepfather, had my own house, car, working, things of that nature. We decided to meet up, and we met up. We actually planned the baby. The baby was just not a coincidence. She knew what I've been through in the past with not having kids and how desperately I wanted to have a kid. She was willing to go through with it with me.
And I did.
And
you don't see the baby?
Then, you know, I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the X in the baby.
The plaintiff said that he was unsure about the paternity because of the inconsistent lies of Miss Dean. But the defendant denied the accusations and told the events of pregnancy. Well, we're not sure who's a better liar.
Miss Dean, when you found out you were pregnant, take me to that day.
I had my period in February. We conceived in March.
When you found out you were pregnant,
I called him. He was acting like he was happier than 2 jaybirds.
All right, so you called Mr. Wilson and he was happy.
Yes. When the baby came out, you couldn't tell him that wasn't his kid at all.
Okay.
The judge asked for Mr. Wilson's involvement during the pregnancy and childbirth, and he thoroughly admitted all of his responsibilities. So far, things look good. But where did it go wrong?
So you were there at the birth?
Yes, I was.
Did you go to doctor's appointments for the baby too?
She never followed through with it.
But at the birth, you came.
I came.
And you cut the umbilical cord?
I did 1, 2, 3.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
So you accepted this baby as your own?
I did.
And at that time when you did that, you believed you were the father?
Didn't have no doubts.
The plaintiff explained the time when things started taking the wrong direction. After the accusations against the defendant, she called him a liar and started crying about her sole responsibilities for the kid. Girl, how can a man support you if you cheat on him?
And in the mix of us building a relationship, she's getting bigger. She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? She said, I can't talk now because my ex is here. And why is he there 11 o'clock at night if the kids got school in the morning?
And he knew exactly what was going on. With that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up.
Upon being asked about the paternity issue, Mr. Wilson said he didn't have any doubts until he confronted her ex and embarrassed himself by finding out the dirty ways she was playing with him. Well, now she's in trouble.
I didn't have doubt until she's told me I didn't have sex with him. He's just laying on the couch. Okay, I went with that. When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. I asked him, I said, is y'all having a child together? He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So that fueled my doubt.
The judge then asked the plaintiff why he signed the birth certificate. He shocked the court by sharing Miss Dean's weird behavior when he had the baby to himself for a few days. Now this woman appears crazy.
When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father. She was like, bring me back my baby, because I was telling her, it's not your baby, it's his baby. Like the Byron.
I said, Janera.
He was like, that's right, that's my baby, bring back my baby.
The defendant fought back his claims and shared the reason behind her cold words to Mr. Wilson. In a minute, she threw a heartless accusation at him.
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, baby.
She watched too many Lifetime, Your
No,
Honor.
he used me, Your Honor. He proposed to me, told me that we were gonna get married, moved in together. He lied, took the baby, tried to move away. He had the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Now, Mr. Wilson's witness stepped in and shared her stance on this confusing story, and also recalled Miss Dean's crazy behavior at her home. The defendant's double-sidedness is clearly shown here.
She came to my home looking for my brother with her family, throwing things at my window. Bring me back my baby. That's not his.
My baby and wouldn't tell me where y'all was at.
She told my family, I wasn't home at the moment. She said, I heard her family said, that's not his baby. Bring where that baby at? Where that baby at? That's not his baby. How he gonna take a baby that's not his?
The defendant confronted the accusations and repeatedly said that they were lying. Well, now only a DNA test can give the closure they want.
I tell you, we have no contact. I don't even got Gennaro number now. He is lying.
But my point is, has it ever been stated that Jakaya is not his child?
Not by me.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.